A lot of them, it's like, yo, I want to bet this game so bad, but I just really don't have a lean, which kind of sucks, but excited to watch. Still found a bunch of them I liked. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. As you can see, the Pickdawgz crew is beside me. Same exact thing we did last week. We're going to go through, I think I have 16 games queued up, something like that. I passed on like 3 of them, so we're going to run through them. Let's get it started because we got a bunch to get through. First up, Oklahoma at Cincinnati. This line, I believe it's at 14 now. I got it at 13 and a half. Spoilers, I took Oklahoma. Um, over, under. The first poll is up and running. All right, Mitch, you got the big seat right here. What are you taking here?
Well, this is a game that I actually do not have a bet on because I really can't stand seeing Oklahoma, anywhere remotely close to going back to the playoff, even though, of course, it's not a Lincoln Riley team. And, Lincoln Riley teams in the playoff have been terrible. But, we know it's Will Venable's team. And then you have to question the other side if they're going to have the offense to go. I just don't think Cincinnati with Emory Jones is really going to offer the punch here. So I can't bet on Emory Jones. I can't really bet on Oklahoma. I'm not going to take a pass. I don't do that, but I'll take Oklahoma. I'll lay the points. And I think if I'm going to bet it personally, just to be involved, I got to lay 20.
That is basically my reasoning also. I still don't know what to think of the Cincinnati team post Luke Fickell. And if you watch the last 2 Saturdays, me and Mitch have both expressed our distrust for Emory Jones on here. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. Let's swing it over to Chris. And my switching thing didn't work, it looks like. But all right, Chris, who are you taking?
I'm sticking with Oklahoma as well. I maybe not. I'm probably not too big on it like you guys are, but I like the way that Oklahoma's looked. Granted, again, it's been against the likes of Tulsa, Arkansas State, and their least effective performance was against SMU, but it was a game that they still won by 17 points, even though they had a couple of late scores to get them to win and cover, or excuse me, the cover in that one. So, yeah, I'm not there with Emory Jones either. I like Dylan Gabriel leading this Oklahoma offense. I like Will Venables, and yeah, I think Oklahoma does enough here to get themselves a winning cover here, maybe 17 points, maybe a
blowout,
34-17 kind of game. So,
yeah,
give me Oklahoma.
34-17 sounds nice. Jay, are we sweeping?
By default, I'm kind of in the same mold as some of you guys, but maybe we got to place a bet if we're all leaning in that direction. I'm leaning Oklahoma. I just don't think Cincinnati has that same firepower they have in years past. This Oklahoma team has been scoring. That's one thing that they have done this year. And I don't think Cincinnati's defense really is going to offer any resistance. We even saw Pitt give these boys a good game, and I'm not high on Pitt. I'm not that high on this Oklahoma team either. I think they're slightly overrated right now, but hey, they're getting it done, and I'm gonna lean in their direction. They should beat up on Cincinnati here in this one.
If this is a Cincinnati team from the last couple years, plus 14 at home, I'd love it. But that was that Luke Fickell defense. They had a pass rush. I don't even know what I think of this team. So Oklahoma minus 14 across the board. We're starting with a sweep. And our community agrees. It looks like 60% of our viewers are laying the 14, 27% taking the points, 7% over, 3% under. All right, let's move on to the next game. I tried to build so the picks would auto follow you when you moved. Looks like it didn't 100% work. Next game. Mitch went first last time, so let's get Chris up here to go first. Auburn at Mississippi State. At Texas A&M, I'm sorry. We'll get to the Mississippi State one later. This is at 8.5, or I believe it was. It was a couple hours ago, so I'm just going to write 8.5. I believe it's still there. Chris, you placing a bet on this one, on this SEC battle.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have a bet on it. Maybe not as heavy as I did when it was around 7.5, but I'm still sticking with Texas A&M here. I think there's something inherently wrong with Auburn right now. You could argue that they probably should have lost that game against Cal. I like Texas A&M this year. I like, they seem to have fixed a lot of the issues that they had last season. But this is more importantly a game for me where I think they've had this game circled going back to last season. Auburn kicked them when they were down.
13-10.
Celebrated like they had won the national championship when Texas A&M was basically eliminated from bowl contention at that point. What was already a down year for that team. Yeah, I think Texas A&M beats the crap out of me. I'm going to go by Texas A&M by double digits.
All right, let's bring Jay up. Jay, are you with them?
I'm gonna pass on this one. A&M is not a team I feel comfortable laying over a touchdown with, not over a solid team. The last time we expected them to beat a good team, they got stomped, and that was by Miami. I don't know. Jimbo Fisher just has come up short. This Texas A&M team has been hyped, and I think mainly just because it's in the SEC. And I think they're now going to go back to what they were when they had the other big schools in Texas in the same conference as them, a backseat. Man, I'm not high on A&M. Actually, I might have just talked myself on the other side. I'll grab the points with Auburn. It's just a pure fade of Texas A&M and how overrated I think they are.
Wow. It takes Auburn. All right, now let's bring Mitch on to finish us off here. Mitch, where are you leaning on this one?
I'm on the fence on this game as well. I'm more leaning Auburn with the points, but I will say about Texas A&M this year, I love teams that are traditionally strong at one position and are known for like bringing those type of guys into the NFL. And Texas A&M is that type of team at the defensive end position. So we've seen great defensive ends come out of Texas A&M, and I think we have another one this year. So I think if you are going to watch this game, watch the defensive end position for Texas A&M. You're going to see a guy who's probably top 5 NFL draft pick, Von Miller, Myles Garrett type, you're going to see that sort of thing. That's what Texas A&M is these days. I think Jimbo Fisher, maybe the seat a little less warm than it was a few weeks ago. I think even the Miami loss was certainly, we saw at least signs that they could throw the football. I know you bring in Bobby Petrino and all of a sudden you're thinking interim head coach at some point, but I don't know. As long as he doesn't take out the motorcycle, they'll probably be okay. I'm gonna take Auburn in the points. I just think 8.5 a lot to be laying in an SEC game. I know College Station always seems to be one of those really tough buildings, but at the same time, I rarely see the Aggies deliver the death blow there. As much as I love the college football atmosphere at College Station.
Say it with me. Overrated.
Well, all right. So Texas A&M
is overrated. Texas A&M.
A&M. They always have been.
No. The expectations coming into the season was that Texas A&M was a bottom tier team. I think they're way better than what they were billed at. I mean, this was a 3-win team last year or something. They were terrible.
Nah, they're coming in every year coming in. They love some A&M. Trust me.
I don't look. Were they ranked or something? I don't look at the polls, so I have no idea.
I don't think so. But Texas A&M may be overrated, but Auburn is trash. The play here is the under at 51.5. I don't really know.
I like a coach that can work the living room and walks the line. If you've been fired for recruiting violations, you're my guy.
Yeah, right. You're
done that. So
you want a coach that's pushing the envelope. So I'm not entirely sure why they're giving us this total at 51.5. I'm guessing people are looking at that A&M Miami game. They got 48-33 final score. The difference is Miami has a passing attack with Tyler Van Dyke. That's how you have to attack this Texas A&M defense. They're the 4th ranked run defense in the FBS. 4th. This run defense is elite. Pass defense, they're all the way back at, where is it? It's 70-something. I have it in my notes somewhere. Oh, 70th. They're all the way back at 70th against the pass. So you want to know what Auburn hasn't shown us they could do? Throw the ball. I mean, I know they brought in Peyton Thorne from Michigan State, and really not last year, but the year before that, Peyton Thorne was slinging it around. Jaden Reed, and they had that other receiver out there. We know he can throw it, but we just haven't seen it yet at Auburn. I think Texas A&M defense is perfectly equipped to just blank this Auburn team. What happened the last time? What happened when Auburn went out to Cal? They won 14-10. How were they held to 14 points to such an inferior team in Cal? Because Cal brought back 10 of 11 defensive starters, and Cal can defend the run. That's how you shut down this Auburn team, stop them from running the ball, force them to throw it, and that's exactly what Texas A&M is going to do. As far as the A&M offense against the Auburn defense, I'm not saying I love the matchup. If I was on the side, I would be with Chris, laying the 8.5, but Wegman's probably the most talented. I read an article that Wegman could very well be the most talented quarterback in the SEC next year. I'm not saying I didn't say it. I read an article. So people are big on this kid, and if you watch some
said KJ Jefferson was going to be that coming into this year, so you can't listen to them.
No, I know, but I that kid, if you watch some highlights, he's talented. He can sling it, and if both teams are going to struggle to run the ball, I'll take the better quarterback at home. So I would lean Texas A&M -8.5, but I'm playing the under. It was 13-10 this game last year. So our poll. Oh, I wrote Texas in the poll. Hopefully everyone knew it meant A&M. Texas A&M, 44% of our viewers laying the 8.5, 40% catching the 8.5, 7% under, 4% over. Next game coming. Yeah, I couldn't get there with laying the points. I wanted to, though. Bad. Next game is... I'm already catching a lot of hate comments on this one. Florida State at Clemson. Let's bring Jay up to the front to start this one off. Florida State at Clemson, one of the biggest games of the week. If you saw on YouTube, I took Clemson +2.5, and I'm taking a lot of hate for it. Those comments are not liking the pick. What side are you on, Jay?
Yeah, I'm not liking it either, man. This is going to be one of these type days, man. Don't overreact to Florida State last week. It was just a tough game. I think that even that they could beat Clemson. Clemson is terrible. Clemson is not good. They haven't been good all year. I've been on that fade Clemson train all year, and I'm still on it. I don't like Klubnik. I think Dabo and what he's trying to do at Clemson, removed from Trevor Lawrence, is overrated. This is a program that I don't think is getting the recruits that many people think that they may be getting. I think Clemson's in trouble. I think Florida State rolls these boys. I know they don't win in Clemson often, but this is a different team. The talent we saw early in the year is still the talent they have. I look for them to win and win comfortably. I'm on Florida State.
Let's bring Mitch on. Mitch, do you care to retort from that?
I like Florida State here, but I think that Jay, I do the morning show with Jay, so I know his feelings, but I think he's way down on Clemson, and the Clemson team that is just, this is the time of year where you get into these conference games, and this is the time of year where where I start my handicapping. Number one, how many players do they have active in the NFL? That's where I start, and I say, which teams are breeding the NFL talent, and which ones aren't. Both these teams are loaded with them, but Jay loves the Bengals, but I don't know. For some reason, he doesn't like Clemson, T. Higgins, Miles Murphy, DJ Reader, Jackson Carman. But the thing is that I just think that both these teams are NFL loaded. I don't like Klubnik all that much. I think Travis a little bit to the overrated side personally. I'm gonna lean Florida State, but I liked it at 2 and 1.5 a lot better than I like it at 2.5. That's for sure. So I think this is one that could possibly go overtime.
I could see that. Who's guest for? Someone's getting a lot of reverb on the mic here. It's either Jay or Chris. I don't know which one of you, but I'm hearing a lot. Like I can hear your breathing. Yeah, whoever just did that, that's who it was. All right, so let's go on to Chris next. Chris, you on Clemson or Florida State here?
Yeah, I'm on Florida State, but I'm on Florida State on the money line. I pay a little bit of juice for it, but I think it's just a safer play here. I think Florida State does win this game, snap that 7-game losing streak against Clemson. Yeah, I have a hard time laying 2.5 in this day and age of college football, especially with that extended overtime. I'm sort of on the same sentiment with Mitch. I think this could be a game where it goes to overtime, and I think that those 2 points could come in very handy here. But I do think Florida State gets the job done. I won't go as harsh as Jay to say that Clemson, not very good. I think they fixed whatever issues they had in the second half of that Charleston Southern game, carried it over to FAU. But I think that last week was more about Florida State looking ahead, getting a little bit complacent. Like Mitch mentioned that on our Thursday college football show against Boston College. Let Boston College come back in that game, but I don't think that's indicative of how Florida State's going to treat this game. I think Florida State's going to be sky high for this one and go on the road. This is a massive game because I think no 2 lost teams ever made the playoffs, so that's big for Clemson, and this is a big statement game for Florida State as well. So I'm leaning towards Florida State, but not my best play on the board for sure.
Stick a fork in them.
Clemson is the move here. This is just perfect because what what did everyone watch, right? What did everyone watch? Everyone watched week 1. Everyone saw Florida State dismantle LSU in the second half, and everyone watched Clemson shit the bed against Duke. That's what everyone saw. But you know what? 95% of the public hasn't watched a single snap of Florida State and Clemson since then, because if they have, they would know Clemson's been kind of bulldozing teams, and Jordan Travis just 51% completions in his last 2 games.
Charleston Southern and FAU.
Right, but Jordan Travis is struggling against Boston College. Everyone's talking about
College is for real.
What, bro? Boston College sucks.
Boston College would mop the floor.
I think Jay just got kicked off of this show.
Dude, Boston College almost lost. Boston College almost lost to Holy Cross the week before that.
Holy Cross is legit. Holy Cross got a lot of transfers in there.
Charleston Southern would play Boston College to a 1-score game.
Nah, Boston College would mop the floor with them boys.
Boston College. But anyway, so that's what everyone saw. Everyone's all over Florida State here. Everyone's loving the Noles. You know, Clemson at home is 59-2 since 2014, and the 2 losses came by 1 point. 1 point where the quarterback went absolutely ballistic. I saw someone in the comments say, Jordan Travis doesn't need to be great in this game to beat Clemson. What? To go into Death Valley and beat Clemson? He doesn't need to be great? He's going to need to have the game of his life. Team is loaded with NFL talent. Yeah, are they what they were a couple years ago? No, it seems to take a small step backwards, but they still have the 3rd most NFL prospects of anyone in the country. They are loaded, absolutely loaded. Yeah, Clemson plus points at home. Clemson plus 2.5. They haven't lost by more than 1 at home in, 13 years? Hell no. Clemson plus 2.5, definitely. And what do you know?
I'm with you. I'm with you in the respect that I still think Florida State wins the game, but I'm with you all the way that people are way looking past the talent level of a guy that's recruited top 5 recruiting classes for 10 years in a row. I mean, they're loaded. Loaded.
Absolutely.
You don't have like the Etiennes and Lawrences and these guys rolling through there. I mean, T. Higgins was like an afterthought. I mean, that's how deep this team has been for so long. It's like
I was surprised when T. Higgins started excelling with the Bengals, because I was like, dude, that was wide receiver 3 on Clemson behind Justin Ross.
Exactly.
And he was the 3rd guy on there.
He was the 3rd guy.
So Florida State dominated the poll as expected. Everyone's betting Florida State here. 65% of our viewers.
I'm dead. I'm a dead man. I already have my bet on Florida State, but I'm a dead man.
29. Yeah. I love Clemson.
Man.
I love Clemson today.
Dead man walking right here.
Will Shipley's going to be ripping 6 yards a carry all day.
Dead man walking.
Dead
man walking.
Now let's talk about a real program. Let's talk Michigan State football. Oh, my God. What's going on there? Obviously, you guys are all familiar with it. What was this line at? 8.5?
Most recent one I've seen was 7.
An even 7?
Or maybe, hold on, let me
7.5.
Yeah,
7.5.
Okay.
So Maryland minus 7.5. Michigan State plus 7.5. I know that, like, it could be tempting. Obviously, if you're an unfamiliar head coach, Mel Tucker just lost his job, whatever allegations. And I know it could be tempting to take the team that just lost their head coach, right? Because it's like, yo, maybe they rally behind the interim coach. Maybe they use this as a. I mean, we've all done that. We've all seen it happen. I don't think that's the case here. I'm even big on Maryland, but what I did in this one is I put down. I'll just put mine up first because I don't have a ton to say about it. What I did in this one is I paired. Oh, did I switch it? No. I paired Maryland moneyline with Jacksonville State moneyline parlay, and that came out to minus 124. So that's what I did because both those teams are laying 7. I think both of them should win easily, but I don't feel comfortable laying the full 7 in either. So I parlayed those two together. That's what I did. Mitch, do you have the stones to take Michigan State without a coach?
Absolutely not. I think that the problem runs deeper than just the Mel Tucker situation. This is the situation that we have at Michigan State, and we see this with many, many coaches throughout college football over, my entire lifetime, so basically 163 years. What we've seen is that when there are certain coaches that are really good when they first come into a program and they're coaching other coaches' players, but as their players start to infiltrate the system, all of a sudden their performance drops off. We like to call this Rick Neuheisel syndrome, right? Where he's really good with the other guy's players, and then once his players come in, the level just starts to drop off. And I think looking at Michigan State's performance last year, and then looking at the talent level of the team this year, just how they stack up on a talent level wise, forget the whole coaching turmoil. It's a shit show over there at Michigan State. I just don't see it. And I think Tagliavoa, I think he's trying to step out of the shadows of being Tua's little brother and become his own player. Maryland hasn't been a great road team throughout the years, but Michigan State could be filthy bad this year. I mean, they could be like Northwestern bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
And whenever in recent years under Scotty Hazelton as defensive coordinator for Michigan State, whenever you can get an offense that can throw the ball against them, it's pretty safe to fade Michigan State because their pass defense under Scotty Hazelton's tenure has been embarrassing. Like, everyone comes into that stadium and throws for 400 yards. But all right, let's switch it over. Let's see if Chris has the stones to take a shot with Michigan State.
No, I can't. No, there's unfortunately no way I can get there. You just mentioned it, Sauce. The one thing that's really stood out about Michigan State is how bad this pass defense has been, and Maryland, not as strong as Washington, but a team that fits the same profile, a team that's built to exploit Michigan State's weakness, which is their pass defense. Look at Maryland this season, top 25 in passing yards per game, top 50 in yards per completion. I think this is another one of those games where, Tagovailoa just beats up on a
pitching and catching, right? Pitching and catching.
Yeah, exactly. Even if the receivers have to do a lot of the work, it's not going to matter because they're going to go up and down the field. I would maybe extend this line to 13.5.
Wow.
I see that. I see Maryland absolutely 42-14 is where I see this one going.
I mean,
I see an absolute blowout.
The guy said in the comments best. He's like, I like the picks, but the Manoa jersey just really shakes my confidence. All right.
It's okay. You know what? I wear it like a badge of honor. Plus, it was way too much work to hang that up, so I'm not taking it down at this point.
All right. Let's see if Jay has the stones to take Michigan State at home here.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm a lean Maryland. It's a lean. That hook looms large, but I like what you put. Maryland or pass for me in this one. I like what Mitch said. I think Tua's little brother, he's pretty damn good, but that's what everybody calls him, Tua's little brother. And I think he's trying to step out of that. Michigan State, man, I just can't back them with everything that's going on right now. It seems like a sucker play to me, but that hook is what's probably keeping me off. But I think Maryland should win this game comfortably.
Yeah, it seems like we're all on the same page there, and so are the viewers. Looks like 65% of our viewers are laying the 7.5, 21% taking the points. So let's move on to game number 5, which is Texas Tech at West Virginia. We'll have Chris start this one out. This is a weird one because when I first looked, I was like, oh, West Virginia all day at home getting the points. And then when I looked deeper, I actually ended up laying them with Texas Tech here. But let's put it up on the screen and see what the viewers think. But where are you leaning on this one, Chris?
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one because when I was looking at it too, I was kind of in the same boat. I was like, West Virginia plus the points. I mean, they're not bad at home. They just had a solid performance, but I can't get there now that we're under a touchdown. I think Texas Tech wins this one on the road. I like Tyler Shugg. And this West Virginia defense, you can hold down whoever you want. And, I know they held down Pitt last week, but I think this Texas Tech offense just ends up being too much. I keep going back to Texas Tech winning this one by a touchdown, 31-24, something like that. So give me Texas Tech laying the 5.5. And
real quick, I'm putting mine up too. I laid the 5.5 as well. I don't know if it's been updated or not, but when I was looking this morning, it did not look like Green was going to play, West Virginia quarterback. He was in a walking boot last week. I don't believe he participated in a practice. College, they don't have the same rules as the NFL. In the NFL, they're like legally required to declare their injury report. That doesn't exist in college. So a lot of times it's a coin flip trying to find out if these guys are playing before kickoff. So I don't know if Green is playing the quarterback, but I think he's not going to play. So something to keep in mind. And if he is playing, I don't know if he's going to be 100% because he was, like I said, in a walking boot. Let's bring Mitch up. Mitch?
Yeah, I never even looked at West Virginia in this game. I think Texas Tech is one of the more underrated programs, and it's like they've struggled with consistency for a long time, not just this season, but really forever, right? I mean, they've struggled to be a consistent team. Mike Leach, they struggled to be consistent with. In Kingsbury, they struggled with consistency. But one thing they've never really struggled on is offense and talent, and they always have tons of size on this team too. I think West Virginia's defense is still a problem for me, and the West Virginia kind of changed the way that they run things. Their offense now kind of runs to keep the defense off the field, and the problem is against Texas Tech. I think that, anytime your defense is on the field.
Whoa. Mitch, you with me? Yeah, he was freezing up for a second there. I could tell his connection was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think
so. Just to give you an update, I'm seeing that Garrett Green. It looks like Marchiol is going to get the start, but Green will be there in an emergency role if absolutely needed.
Okay.
I don't know if
that's what I'm seeing.
Dropped or what.
You're back. You're back.
I got dropped. I thought it was started talking about the Colorado game or something. The audience started checking the
two more.
computers.
We're on game 5. Colorado's game 7. So I see the comments. We're getting there.
I'm Texas Tech in this one. Jay, go ahead.
Jay, do you have a bet in this one? Texas Tech, West Virginia.
Y'all are braver than me laying the points with Texas Tech in this one. I have this one paired up in a 2-team parlay. I'm taking Texas Tech money line, and then I'm taking North Carolina money line. I'll go into detail about UNC later, but I think this is the best way to play this. And the reason is because I took Texas Tech on the chin back-to-back weeks to begin the year. They should have beat Oregon. I don't care what nobody said. They had a legitimate chance to beat Oregon. They did. And they should have covered that. They should have covered that football.
They should have covered. They should have covered.
They should have covered for sure, and they had opportunities to win that football game. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And the first
we'll be sticking it to you today. Don't worry about it, Jay.
Yeah, we will. We'll
have a real good time.
And then their first one against Wyoming, they jumped out to a nice lead, 14-0, and then just fell apart late. And this is a team that I don't feel comfortable laying the points now. They burnt me twice. They should win this football game. And so that's how I'm going to attack. I'm just going to take them straight up to win it rather than laying points.
So, yeah, well, it looks like we're all on the same page here. It looks like none of us were impressed by that victory over Pittsburgh last week because I assume we're all on the same page in the sense that Pittsburgh is shit. What happened to that program? But we'll get to that later. North Carolina.
Down year for the Panthers.
They're horrible. That is horrible. Oh, anyway, 67% of our viewers are laying 5.5, 20% taking the 5.5, 9% over, 3% under. It's a down year for the Panthers. Doesn't describe what it is.
Well, that Cincinnati game is going to leave a mark. I mean, that's as tough as watching the Giants on primetime. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal.
That shot you just took at the Giants was so unnecessary.
but so necessary at the same time.
So big game here. Unfortunately, I don't really like it. I mean, I put a YouTube video out and I said at the end, like, hey, I'll probably take Ole Miss +7, but I really don't like it. It didn't make my final ticket that I posted on the website this morning. So I'll get mine out of the way. Where's my pick? Oh, here it is. So I'll put Ole Miss +7 on the screen, but I don't think I'm actually going to bet this. This is just, that's the way I would lean. I'm calling, I don't want to say bullshit, but Milroe's going to start, and I don't trust his arm. I don't think Alabama's going to have a passing game here. They should run all over Ole Miss, yeah, but I think Ole Miss will turn it into a shootout. I think they can exploit Alabama's secondary, and if we're going to see a shootout in Tuscaloosa, I want 7 points. So that's my thoughts. I don't feel too strongly about it, though. Mitch?
All week I've been saying Ole Miss, and I kind of like you. And now, that we get closer to game time, this is looking like a very public dog to me and sounding like a public dog. I just don't I don't go on Twitter much, or at least I don't tweet out much, but I certainly read sometimes what people say on Twitter, not the stuff about me, so you guys don't even go there. But I'm talking about the stuff about games and stuff, because I usually like to go the other direction of what the Twitter handicappers go, because if you have a clown emoji as your picture, well, then more than likely you're a clown. So the thing is that, I go with, in this game, I just think Nick Saban, it was a tough week of practice in Alabama, my guess. Lane Kiffin's a stiff. I mean, this guy, when has he ever looked good as a coach? when he was an assistant coach under Pete Carroll, when he had Reggie Bush in the backfield, and when he's assistant coach under Nick Saban when he had everybody. So it's like I think I could have done both those jobs that he had and look good. When he was a head coach on his own in the big games, they fired him in an airplane hangar. I'm gonna take Alabama. I'm switching courses in this game. I just think Ole Miss looks like a public dog to me. Scares the crap out of me, and every Twitter genius has him. So good enough reason to go the other way.
Honestly, that's part of the reason that I'm probably not going to bet this game is I didn't realize everyone was on Ole Miss. And not only that, about half the books had this line at 6.5. I looked this morning, almost all of them are back up at 7. So they're not scared of these. They're not scared of these Ole Miss bettors. So let's see what Mr. Ruffalo, C Boogie, what do you have to say about this one?
You know what? I would be called out immensely if I decided to switch my pick from our morning show just about less than an hour ago. I'm sticking with Ole Miss plus the points here. What it comes down to for me is I just don't think that Milroe is set up to succeed in this Alabama offense. You've got Tommy Rees setting up the offense like he's still got Tyler Buckner at Notre Dame, with this pro style offense, making Milroe a bit more of a pocket passer when you should be running the same kind of offense that you ran with Jalen Hurts, kind of that RPO option, give him the chance to use his legs a little bit. And, we also talk about, some coaching, being at one of those sort of lost details that maybe not people focus as much on. Pete Golding's now the defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. He spent a ton of time at Alabama. He only took the Ole Miss job this season, and he knows the defense that can be used to make young quarterbacks uncomfortable like Jalen Milroe. And I'm not a Milroe fan to begin with. I think Ole Miss definitely has the tools to make Alabama uncomfortable. Ole Miss likes to be a thorn in Alabama's side, even if they're not getting the cover. I think it says something when I always say this is the least talented Alabama team we've seen in some time. But it's just sort of where I stand on it. So I'm taking Ole Miss plus the points. I sprinkle a little bit on the money line, but like you guys said, it is a very public dog.
Yep. And I like what you said about the defense because I think that the Ole Miss defensive unit is on a bit of I don't want to say come up because they're not a good unit yet, but it used to be, rewind back to the Matt Corral years, a couple of years back, it was like their offense will score 40, but you're going to score 50 on them right back. It's not really the case anymore.
They're
Jay,
turning in the right direction.
Jay, are you on the tide?
Walk with me here. Do y'all think that the odds makers watch all the games? No.
Yes.
No.
Well, I mean, I think someone that works for them.
Do you think that the public watches these games? Yes.
No.
I do. I think that this talk of the public dog and all this, I think that's overrated. I do. I think that the public is getting better day by day, and I think that these guys win 50% of the time, just like everybody else. And I think that they're right on the head on this game. If you have watched these two teams thus far this year, then taking the points with Ole Miss is the play to be in this football game. I think Alabama, this is one of the worst Alabama teams in recent memory. I believe, I don't think that's a shot to say. I think this team has a chance to lose 3 to 4 games this year. I think they're that bad. And I think this is one of the best Ole Miss teams in recent memory. And this game gives me the same feeling the Texas game gives me. Alabama has been so good for so damn long, has beat up on a lot of teams that they were better than, and now that's not the case. I think that Alabama's favored by 7 off name brand alone. I think Ole Miss is excited to get this opportunity. I think they have a legitimate shot to win this game outright. I'm taking Ole Miss plus the 7, and I'm sprinkling on the money line as well. It's really that simple for me. Milroe, he's not as bad as people portray him to be, but this Alabama team is not as deep as in years past. A lot of those second players, a lot of those bench players that were on Alabama in years past are on Ole Miss. They're on Clemson. They're on Tennessee. They're on USC because they're getting paid now with NIL. They're no longer on the bench at Alabama.
Because they couldn't beat out the guys that are on the field.
Alabama's not as good as in years past.
But they couldn't beat out the guys that are on the field. They weren't the starters that just vacated their starting positions for Nick Saban and the Tide. These are guys that couldn't make the field.
Nah, these are.
And I think that's where you're lost on the transfer portal overall. Your overall view is skewed.
That's where you're lost on it overall.
Yeah, because I see zeros. I see the last The last real big starter that I saw leave like that was Gibbs. Left Georgia Tech to go to Alabama in a move that actually made sense. But most of the guys that are backups or fifth-year guys, most of them, like the center that left UCF and went to Miami, that made sense.
That's not necessarily the argument. The argument is that freshman from a couple years ago that would have sat at Alabama no longer is there. He's at USC. That's
how you end up with Justin Fields getting beat out by Jake Fromm. But it's, it's just the story of what we see, and I think that, you're going to see today at 3:30 exactly what the transfer portal looks like when it plays against a team that has been recruiting top 10 classes for the last 25 years.
Well, we're getting to that game right now.
That's what you're going to see.
57% of our viewers taking the 7 with Ole Miss. So a lot of people betting the Rebels here. Mitch on an island with Alabama, but I do see where he's coming from. The path out, if Alabama is going to come out and slam,
I'm happy to be on an island in this game. I'm happy to be on the island.
Well, you know what? Why don't we start with the neutral party? C Boogie. We're talking
there a neutral party. I don't think there is.
I like to think I am, but you know what? I'm getting, no matter what I do, you get hate in this matchup is crazy.
Hey, I'm not even picking a football game anymore, according to the people in the comments.
All right. We have C Boogie. You get to start this off. The comments are waiting for this one. Are you on Coach Prime or not? Are you with him or against him?
I'm just going to say this is very symbolic for me. I just took my last sip of my Prime so I can officially do this.
What does that mean?
You're getting crushed today.
Oh.
I'm taking Oregon. Look, this is what I see with Colorado, okay? And Jay and I talked about this right after that Colorado State game. I will give Shedeur Sanders credit for having the poise to lead Colorado down when they were facing adversity in that fourth quarter to tie the game and force overtime and handle himself to take care of business in double OT. The thing is, for me, look at their schedule so far. Played a TCU team that still had no idea what to expect to begin with.
They look pretty good though, TCU.
They were. They still even a patchwork, TCU team that was missing a ton of pieces from last year's team still put up 42. You faced a Nebraska team in week 2 that had more turnover than the WWE roster. I see Sausage Austin 316 shirt. More turnovers, than I could imagine in week 2. And they shot themselves in the foot plenty in that game. And then week 3, like I said, you could have argued that the Buffs probably should have lost that game. But for me, it's about the one area that you can attack Oregon's defense is on the ground. And this is still a Colorado ground attack that's 129th in rushing yards per game, 130th in yards per rush. They're going up against one of the best pass defenses in the country. And I just think that Shedeur Sanders has some issues here. Bo Nix at home, whether it's Jordan Hare when he was with Auburn or at Autzen as a member of Oregon, Bo Nix at home is a legit thing. 23 touchdowns to just 1 pick at Autzen since transferring to Oregon. I think this one gets out of hand, in the second half, and I think Oregon wins this one 49-21.
49-21 Ducks. Let's bring on Jay next. Jay, I know you're on the Buffs.
I'm on the Buffs, man. Go Buffs, man. This one, I've been here this whole time, man. This is what I'll say. This Oregon's defense is the main point here in this game is, do I think Oregon is going to score a lot of points on Colorado? I do think Oregon scores. But the question on the other side is, does Colorado go back and score on Oregon? And the answer to that question is yes. Every thing that you look at says yes. Shedeur Sanders has, every time he's been down, what has he done? Scored. This Oregon defense, I'm not high on it. They haven't played anybody this year. They have not played anybody this year. When you go back and look at them last year, they got scored on in the Pac-12. They got scored on. 8 of their 15 or 13 games last year, their opponent scored 24 points or more. And I think that this Colorado offense is legit. Stop hating on this offense. And Colorado, man, the books have been wrong on Colorado all season. They've been wrong all year.
Facts.
They've been wrong all year. Week 1, they were 21-point dogs. They won outright. Week 2, they were only supposed to beat Nebraska by 3. They beat up on them boys. Last week, they were supposed to blow out Colorado State. They did not do that. They've been wrong.
The books aren't predicting games.
They've been wrong all year.
The books aren't game predictors.
So
Books are
exactly,
predicting
I'm a
the
game
game.
predictor, and I'm telling you right here, right now, Colorado has a legitimate shot to win this game outright. Bo Nix in big
God.
games. There's a reason he ain't in
bet
Auburn
you-
no more. If
I'll
Bo
give
Nix
you a
in
10
big
to 1
games
odds.
is Mr.
I'll give you a
Turnover.
10 to 1.
Give me Colorado plus the 21,
Oh
and I'm
my
taking them
God.
straight up on the money line. It
You're
is
gonna
what it
get
is.
your ass kicked.
All right, let's give Mitch a chance to retort here. Mitch?
I only have two bets on this game. I have Oregon minus 27 and Oregon minus 41, and I'm feeling very good about both of those. I think that the books, when you look at the higher lines there in the 40s and the high 30s, you can see the books looking for protection there. What do you think I got at minus 41? I only got plus 635 on that bet, which really you would think I would get much higher price on that. But the books are afraid because there is going to be a very big number on this. All these same things that Jay said, they said this about the Ducks when they went into the horseshoe a couple of years, 2 years ago at Ohio State and blew the Buckeyes out of the water. The only reason that Oregon's still not scoring in that game is because the whistle finally blew and the gun went off and the game was over.
That was ugly.
Because Ohio State had no answers on defense. And I'll tell you what, half that team, if not more than half that team, plays in the NFL right now. So that's how good this Oregon offense is. Or Colorado hasn't seen speed like this at all. Oregon is way faster than Colorado. You think like these Colorado guys running against Nebraska look fast or something. Wait till you see Team Nike hit
Nebraska,
the field today.
You were trying to lay 20 points, Finn.
It's my turn. My turn. My turn.
My turn. My
turn.
Like this story, you know. This story, you know.
Last week, we were closer to my outright win than you're covering by 20.
That's
right?
true.
So
That's
it's my
true.
turn here. My turn. Anyways,
what about the plus 900?
Anyways, when you look at the defense, Oregon's head coach, Dan Lanning, was the Georgia defensive coordinator, right? So it's just going to take him a little time to get his guys in. This is his second year. It happens, right? They come in, and Oregon never is. Jay seems to think that this is a lousy defensive program or something, but I'll tell you what. Oregon grows defenders in the NFL defenders on
Oregon
trees.
has never been known for defense.
It's my turn,
never.
Jay.
And I would refuse to believe that they got it now.
We listened to your garbage. Now it's my turn.
12. Come on now.
We listened to your garbage. Now it's my turn. We listened to your uneducated crap.
Oregon has a good defense.
Now it's my turn.
George Sanders going to pick these.
We listened to your unfounded crap. Now it's my turn. Okay. We watched the game on Thursday night. The Giants and the 49ers. The 49ers only cared about one player on the field. Former Oregon Duck Thibodeau. That was the only guy they really even cared about blocking, right? You look at the Colts, right? Another lousy team. Who's their best player? Another Oregon Duck defensive lineman, DeForest Buckner. These guys are some of the best defense. Where's Bill Belichick go shopping for defensive backs? He goes to Oregon because these guys are stacked. They have the second most NFL players of any program in college football. They have the second most NFL players.
I want to bet 5,000 Colorado plus the 21.
5,000
right now. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. You offered me 10 earlier in the week. I'm gonna take the 5 right now.
You guys are betting $5,000 right now.
We're gonna bet 5,000 straight up right now.
Everyone's all right.
We're on air. We're on there. I'm gonna take the 21.
That's fine. Okay.
First
half or a game?
Full game. I want the 21.
Oh, okay.
Colorado's the play here.
Okay.
Look, okay.
You're gonna get stomped.
So
they have no offensive line.
What Mitch just said, a lot of it is true. But the thing is, we don't know that much about this Oregon team. 4 of their 5 offensive linemen from last year are gone. They're in the NFL. Their secondary is 4 new transfers. 4 of their 5 members of their secondary are transfers this year. They're brand new. Now, knowing Oregon program, they're probably good, but we really don't know. And Tyler Shuck was able to throw the ball on them. I think Colorado's passing offense is a little more dangerous than Tyler Shuck. I realize Tyler Shuck is good, and that Texas Tech offense, they can throw the ball. But Shedeur Sanders, we're seeing good footwork in the pocket. It's not just like exploiting.
Who has a better offensive line, Texas Tech or Colorado?
Texas Tech.
This guy's not going to have 5 seconds to throw the football. They're dead.
I mean, Nebraska has a pretty good pass rush, too. It didn't seem to matter.
But imagine the mess that's going to happen at Autzen.
At some point, you have to sit back and be like, All right, the numbers say this, because I agree. The numbers probably indicate a comfortable Oregon win. I agree with Mitch there. But at some point you have to sit back and be like, all right, what do I see happening here? And I just don't see Coach Prime getting blown out the week before the USC game. No way. Maybe next week. Maybe next week they get blown out by USC and Caleb Williams. But I think this one's going to be exciting. Maybe Colorado doesn't win, but I think it's going to be close. I think next week is the game, is the big one where maybe that's where you take USC to score 60. But, everyone's talking about Bo Nix. Oh, look at like Chris was talking about his stats at home. Do you not remember Bo Nix at Auburn? Because he choked. He was a choke artist at Auburn in all the big games.
Not at home.
No, he was good at home in Auburn, but he's still, the big games, he didn't show. Trust me, I lost a lot. I was holding a lot of Auburn tickets.
Not at home.
I don't trust Bo Nix. I don't trust this Oregon team.
If the offer's on the table.
No, I took it.
If this line was 7, I'd lay it with Oregon. But 21, no shot. No shot.
I'm up for 5,000. 21, no problem, man.
Let's do it.
No problemo.
All right, let's see
No problem whatsoever. Believe me. I have more than that in the game already at minus 41, so I have no problem.
Minus 41. Oregon minus 41.
I honestly don't think Colorado will score more than 3 points. I really don't. I don't see how they do it.
Hawaii scored 10.
Texas Tech just put 31 on them, Mitch.
Hawaii scored 10.
So 64%.
Texas Tech has a way better offensive line than these guys.
Maybe an offensive line, but Shador Sanders is looking like an NFL prospect.
Not when the pressure was on, he sure didn't.
I mean, we've seen Tyler Shuck look like shit too.
And he was a deer in the headlights.
You can point at any quarterback and isolate times where they look like shit. Tyler Shuck has looked like shit too.
Bitch, and I'm telling you, he's going to get his ass kicked. All right, fine. Well, I mean, I don't care. It's a football game.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Anymore, it's $5,000. So now that's a little past fun for me. So I'm in.
Fun for me.
I normally try not to go more than 2 or 3 dimes on a game, but I'm in.
You offered me 10 earlier in the week. That's the only reason I said it.
Well, it's because this one it's almost too easy.
You said 10.
Well, it's almost too easy.
UCLA at Utah, and C Boogie is back in the hot seat. I have a feeling that I almost can guarantee I'm on the same side as Mitch in this one. I'm on UCLA, but Chris, where are you?
I was so ready to ask if you were ready to share some popcorn after that. I'm still trying to catch my breath after that, but I got to go with UCLA as well. This is just a lean for me though. I didn't want to pass on this game because I do like UCLA here because I think it could be a 4-point game. Is it at 3.5 now?
It was early.
Dion never beat the Canes. Oh, this guy's like someone in the comments said Mitch is mad from Dion beating the Canes. He never beat us.
It's down to 3. Oh no, you can still get it at 3.5 on a couple books.
Never beat us.
You know what? I'll stick with it 3.5.
Stick with it. It's the right side.
Yeah, I like Dante Moore. I like I like what he's brought to the table for UCLA. I thought we were maybe going to see a little bit more of Colin Schlee or whoever else was back there, but it's Dante Moore's show. For me, this is all about, I don't know if Cam Rising's going to play. I'm guessing with this line move, it's maybe a positive suggestion that maybe he will. But even then, what do we see from Rising in this first game back? I think this one's just a tight game. I think it's 27-24, something like that. So give me UCLA plus the 3.5, but not my strongest play on the board.
You are correct with that one. UCLA is the play here. Everyone thought this program was going to fall off. Everyone just puts so much stock in the quarterback and running backs, and understandably so, because that's what we see scoring the touchdowns. That's what we see holding the football. But DTR, Charbonnet, both in the NFL, everyone expects the UCLA program to fall off, and they didn't at all. In fact, the beating they put on San Diego State was impressive as shit. Pretty sure it was on the road. Yeah, on the road in San Diego State. The total yards in that game was 550 to 259. San Diego State's not the easiest place to go play. 550 to 259 with a freshman quarterback. This kid, Dante Moore, is looking like the real deal. I like him a lot. I think he could be even better than DTR. It's just a freshman. Utah, breaking my heart this year, Utah. I had so much faith. I love betting the teams with the great offensive lines and the solid run defense. That's my bread and butter. That's how I make money, is betting teams like that. But I don't trust this Utah team at all right now. And 3 and a hook, I think UCLA can win this game outright. Even if Cam Rising does play, I don't even know if that moves the needle for me.
He's not playing.
It's confirmed?
Well, he's not starting.
Okay. Utah's offense just looks stale and predictable right now. Sure, they're going to try to pound the ball in UCLA, and maybe they'll be able to run the ball with a little success, but I'm on UCLA. I'm taking the 3 in the hook. Let's go to Jay. Play on this one.
Yeah, the play is UCLA, like you said. Utah, they've looked beatable in some of these games, and I think they're kind of holding on. If Cam Rising was playing, the heart and soul of this team, I would be on Utah, but he's not playing today. Maybe next week, but it might be too late. I think UCLA gets him. This is a really talented UCLA team all around. UCLA, it's probably going to come down to them with my 6.5 with Mitch on Colorado, but and it's going to be tough. But I think UCLA gets Utah today. I just think Utah's behind the 8-ball with their backup quarterback.
Mitch, are we sweeping with UCLA?
I'm going to take Utah.
Come on, dude.
I got to take the other side. The line's down to 3, so I'm going to take Utah minus the 3 here. Rising not playing, he's available is what they're saying. So maybe we'll see.
I don't know if that dude wants to play, by the way.
I think Nate Johnson is pretty good. I don't like the other Utah quarterback, the guy that we've been seeing mostly, but Nate Johnson, the dual threat, definitely opens up the running game. And when you have the dual threat there, I think it can do it. And Chip Kelly on the road with the UCLA team. You got, young team on the road and, young quarterback on the road and inexperience on the road.
You mean like they were in San Diego State?
Tough building, way underrated here. I'm going to take Utah in this thing. I think Kyle Whittingham is a big game coach that's way underestimated, man. This guy, you don't hold Division I college jobs for as long as he has, man. I mean, he took over for Urban Meyer. He's still there.
Yeah, I think he's the second longest tenured coach behind Kirk Ferentz, if I'm not mistaken.
I honestly think that people are going to see Johnson and they're going to be a little bit surprised, because I think they haven't seen Utah since the first week. So it's like they saw the other quarterback who's more like vanilla.
Yeah.
But Nate Johnson is like, he's the dual threat that can run for 190 and throw for 220. He's that guy.
I actually don't know much about Nate Johnson, but this kid at UCLA is going to be a star.
Oh, superstar.
And it's looking like our chat. Look at UCLA looking like a public dog here. 59% of our viewers taking UCLA, 34% on Utah. I thought more would be on Utah, to be honest, but all right. Arkansas at LSU next. Let's bring Jay up here. Actually, I'm going to go first. I like Arkansas. I actually got it at 18, but I'll put 17.5. I feel like this is the perfect sell high spot for LSU. Look, LSU looked excellent last week against Mississippi State, right? They absolutely blew the doors off them. We all had LSU in the Discord. We were celebrating. It was awesome. But that was against Mississippi State, and that defense is trash. Well, it's trash against the run, because we'll get to them in a second. But so LSU with Jaden Daniels, just the threat of the run, they were able to expose and beat the shit out of them. LSU stock is at an all-time high, and I think it's time to sell because this Arkansas team, yeah, it's got its weaknesses, and we'll talk about them, but this is not Mississippi State. They can shut down the run. Jaden Daniels is going to have to make plays through the air, and I'm not saying he's not capable, but I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him here, and I think Arkansas can put up a better fight than people are thinking here. When I first looked at it, I was thinking about taking Arkansas money line at like plus 750 or whatever it was. Just going to take the points and play it a little safer. I think this is a close game. I think Arkansas's defense shows up. And I think it's one of those games where you look and it's the third quarter and it's still like 13-10 and you're like, holy shit, like they're really playing them. I think it's going to be low scoring. I would also lean under. Arkansas, give me the Hogs.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm on the Hogs. I don't think it's as close as you think, but I do think they cover. I got this game 34-20. That's how I think it shakes out. I think LSU wins comfortably. Hogs still cover. I think LSU wins by 2 touchdowns. I just think that the Hogs are going to be able to run the football better this week than they did last week. And like you said, I think it is a sell high spot here on LSU. I think they are the better football team, but, I think this is going to be a competitive football game, at least early. And late, I think LSU probably wins it, but I got it 34-20. So I'm going to grab the points there with the Hogs.
And KJ Jefferson, I mean, this is a guy, we've seen this guy go into
His numbers are
Tuscaloosa.
good.
Yeah, and like he is not scared of going into LSU and playing them. I mean, we've seen this guy go into Tuscaloosa and throw 4 touchdowns and 320 yards. We've seen this guy go into he had another huge win last year, the year before. He went on the road, a huge upset. This dude isn't scared of big SEC games. He's been doing it for 5 years. So I like that. I like the experienced quarterback. All right, let's bring up Chris. Chris, are you with us on the Hogs?
I'm actually going to go with the over in this one. I think there's going to be some points here. And I think whichever way this game sets up, it's going to be high scoring. Even if it's, say, an LSU blowout, I think, we get into that sort of 41-17 territory. I think it's still in the mid-50s if I'm not
54
mistaken.
and a half.
Yeah, I still think we're headed for a game that goes over. And if Arkansas keeps it close, I could see a 34-24 kind of game as well. So I'm going with the over 54 and a half. One of my favorite totals of the week. Didn't make it, onto a one of my strongest, but I do like this total a lot.
All right, Mitch. I mean, judging by you today, you're probably going to lay the points with LSU because you're taking every single favorite.
Yeah, I'm not taking every single favorite, but I'm going to take Arkansas here, except I'm going to play it a little differently than you guys are. I'm going to take it all the way down to +3.5, and I also, am going to take it in that territory. I think we either have a very, very close overtime type last-second field goal game, or we have an LSU blowout. So if I'm going to put money on Arkansas, I want to get paid, and it's like I really think that that's the way to play this thing. Because LSU has covered like 9 times in a row as a favorite or something, So the thing is that, which nobody else mentioned, this is a real rivalry game. So this one could be a lot, it's somehow, I don't see, this is, we have a lot of new sports bettors, right? Because of all the states that have gone legal. And we have a lot of new college football fans because of teams like Colorado, right? That kind of bring in this whole thing. But for traditional college football, people like me and Chris, this is a rivalry game. So this is for the boot. And, you guys will see the boot. The boot it's Arkansas, Louisiana. It's a border war. So the boot trophy, it kind of looked, they call it the boot, but it's actually Louisiana and Arkansas on a trophy. And the trophy will be on the sideline. And these players that are in this game, trust me on this, they know it's a trophy game and they know it's a rivalry game and they will leave it all out on the field. Either LSU is going to rub their face in it, or it's going to overtime, or Arkansas wins, or it's a last-second field goal type game. It's not going to be one of these mucking around 14-point wins or whatever. It's just not. It's either knockdown, drag out, overtime, and even multiple overtime type things.
That'd be cool.
And I think Daniels is I'm not going to get into this one.
All right.
I just think Jefferson's the best quarterback on the field.
No, Daniels is probably a little better, but I'll give you that. I think he might be a little overvalued, but he's still pretty dope.
But Jefferson was the all SEC quarterback, first team.
Yeah.
SEC quarterback. He's the guy. We did not see it from him last week. He owes a redemption game to his fan base.
I agree with that. I like the spot for KJ
He owes
Jefferson.
it to them. He owes them. And this is SEC football, and that's how these players are. This is what you sign up for when you come into the program. You owe it to this fan base to play better than that.
Right.
So you lose at home to BYU. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that was bad.
That's not acceptable.
All right, let's move on to game number 10. Oregon State at Washington State. Great Pac-12 game here. Probably not getting the attention it deserves because of all the huge games that are on today. But this is a huge game. These are two teams that have high hopes this year. Going into Pullman is, going into Pullman and winning, not an easy task. I'm on Washington State here, even though I have my doubts about the Cougars' defense this year. They lost their DC last year. I think I was talking about that last week, but I have my doubts about the Cougars' defense. But at home in Pullman, I trust them. And Oregon State, kind of like LSU, I think it's a perfect sell high spot for them. I think they're going to be great this year. I like DJU. I'm happy for him that he's getting a second chance. He's getting to show people that he is talented. And what happened at Clemson was kind of a little bit of a fluke, but not on the road in Pullman, getting a full 3. If this is a pick 'em, I would probably lean Oregon State, but getting the full 3, I got to take the Cougars here at home. Washington State +3. Mitch, I got you up front, so you want to start on this one?
I always take teams with former incarnate word quarterbacks. So Washington State for me in this one. I just think, you come from our incarnate word up, man. I'm all over the Cougs, just like I was in that Wisconsin game on the money line that you guys trashed me for as well. I think what we haven't done a lot of shows together throughout the years or anything like that. So it's kind of like we're getting to know each other. But I think Kyle's starting to see my style, which is more like, I love the risk reward, and I like getting paid big. And it's like, it doesn't always work out for me. Like last week at Folsom Field, but I was there, and I was definitely a lot closer than laying the 21 was. And I think in some of these spots, it just seems that there are openings. And I think in this is one of this Washington State team where they play out in the Pac-12. Their games are on the Pac-12 network. They're not like one of the big Pac-12. They're the leftover Pac-12,
right?
It's like. This is where the value is. They don't have a Clemson, transfer. They got the incarnate word quarterback, It's like, I think this Washington State team is a lot better than people think.
Yeah, I like Cam Ward a lot. Let's bring up Chris. Chris, are you with us on the Cougs?
Yeah, I think if I was making a play in this one, I'd be on the Cougs. I do like Washington State. I think they have the bigger upside, going forward. If this is a game, at Reeser in Corvallis, I think you can definitely make the case for Oregon State because Corvallis has become a tough place to go on the road and win. But like you said, so is Pullman. Pullman is a very, very hard place to go on the road and win. And I think Washington State does just enough to win this game. I might even go Washington State money line, but I think I'll take the 3 to be safe.
I was gonna go Washington State money line when it was sitting at 2.5. That was the plan. And then it was, I think yesterday morning I saw it at 3, and I was like, oh no, -110 plus 3, got to take it. All right, Jay. Pac-12. You getting your beak wet on this one?
Nah, we sweeping it. I like fading DJU. There's a reason he ain't at Clemson no more, and they didn't get better with Klubnik there either.
This guy hates Clemson.
They're not that damn good. They're overrated. I'm sorry.
Toilet paper in his bathroom.
I just call it like I see it, man. I just call it like I see it. And what I have seen is Washington State is legit. That's what I have seen thus far this year. Beat up on Colorado State. That win looks better to me after I watched them last week and that explosive offense that they do have. I just think Washington State's the better. I'm gonna go money line.
Okay.
We might as well get the plus money here. I think the wrong team's favored. This game should be more even, especially in Washington State. I think they can do some things here. Let's sweep this thing.
Sounds good. All right, our poll is on the Cougs as well. Wow, our community betting a lot of dogs today. I like it. We got some educated bettors in the chat today. Let's move on to game number 11, and we'll start with Chris on this one. Minnesota at Northwestern. Actually, we only have 11 minutes left, and there's still 4 games left. So I'm playing Northwestern plus the points, but this game sucks. Is everyone down to skip this one?
Yeah, Minnesota.
All right, cool. You're on Minnesota in that one, Mitch?
Yep.
Wow, I'm surprised to hear that. I thought that line just looked so inflated.
I took the points with Northwestern against Duke. I'm holding it personally against them. I have no actual play.
I actually put this graphic in here solely because I wanted to see if Jay had the balls to lay 17 points with the Longhorns on the road at Baylor. I don't think Baylor's shown me enough to back them. Let's bring Jay up to the front, actually. This is a pass for me. I was just curious. I was at last night late. I was just picking out which games we wanted to talk about, and I was like, I want to see if Jay's doing this. So are you laying 17 on the road?
So I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you guys. This game did not make my premium area today. It didn't. But if I were to give it out a play, I would be on Texas and I would lay the point. I think Texas is better at damn near every position on the football field than Baylor, but they're on the road. It's a rivalry game. And these are just the games that Texas usually falls flat in. And I'm just nervous that this will be the spot for them this year off of a few really good wins. So I like Texas. I think this is the best team they've had in many, many years. And I think they probably are going to the college football playoff. But 17 against a rival on the road makes me a little nervous.
All right. Let's bring up Mitch. This is probably not the best betting game. But, Mitch, if you want to share anything on this one?
Baylor on the money line for me. I just think Steve Sarkisian on the road in a conference rivalry game, just not where I want my money at. So Baylor money line.
Doesn't even take the 17. He wants the money line. Damn.
Hey, I want to get paid, man.
No, I
It's
mean,
like I'm not. If you just sit there and play the juice all the time, and you're just handicapping games, picking, you're gonna lose. You gotta take the payout. You gotta take.
I
take
admit
the plus odds.
that taking the money line like that over time, it probably does turn a profit. It just sounds crazy.
It absolutely does.
To be like, this is my prediction today. But I get it.
It absolutely does. I'm giving out the picks that I'm betting. You know?
Right.
So it's like I mean, or it doesn't always pay off. Like last week, if I would have taken just 8 points or whatever, 9 points in the Colorado State game, I would have still ended up with plus money. So maybe I should have gone that way plus the money line. I should have done both, but I don't know. Hindsight's whatever.
Chris, you see Boogie, you also taking Baylor money line?
Thankfully, this game's in Texas because it is El Paso for me. I'm not going anywhere near this thing.
El Paso, he says. Our viewers are pretty split here. 48% laying the 17, 42% taking the 17, so we're split. Iowa, Penn State, we only have 3 games left, or actually 4, I think, but I think I'm skipping one. So Iowa, Penn State, we got Iowa plus 14.5, Penn State minus 14.5, over, under. We're on the poll. You guys already know this one for me. I'm taking the points with Iowa. Defense travels. Iowa always plays them tough. Actually, they're 3-2 in their last 5 games against Penn State. Yes, I know Penn State blew them out a couple years back, their last trip to Happy Valley. But as a whole, Iowa's defense, man, I like them. They're always good. They're good again this year. Penn State's supposed to have this dual-headed elite rushing attack with Singleton and that other guy. They're supposed to have these 2 elite backs, this unstoppable rushing attack. Where? I'm not really seeing it. It looks pretty mediocre to start the season. It's not Iowa State. It's Iowa, by the way. So, yeah, I'm on the Hawkeyes getting 14.5. I think this is too many. Mitch?
I saw it at 14. I like Penn State at the 14. Not a premium play that for me. In fact, I don't even have a bet on it with it. But I just think Penn State, one of those teams, kind of, it's kind of they cover a lot of games as favorites. They cover all the time as favorites.
Yeah, I had Penn State minus 14 last week, and they made me sweat for it, but they did give it to me.
No, I think they've covered 9 in a row as favorites also.
Chris?
Yeah, Penn State gave me the meat sweats last week as well, but yeah, I'm not at this number. I can't. Because I feel the number is dead on. I think it's either going to be a 28-13 or 28-14 game. I think it's going to fall right on that number, and that makes it a pass for me. I couldn't get there on either side.
Jay, anything for this one?
Pass for me in this one as well.
All right.
Iowa is just a weird team every year, and you never know what they're going to do game by game.
No problem. Just cruising out along. Here's one we got to stop on. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Even though I don't think there's a ton of betting value on the game, certainly one of the biggest games of the week. College game day is there. Ohio State minus 3. I'm going to put Notre Dame plus 3.5 because depending on the book, you can still get 3 or 3.5 as of about an hour ago. So that's what I'm going to put in the poll. You guys already know mine. I put this one on YouTube, and I'm on Notre Dame. But really, I'm trusting the quarterback that has been in big games before. We've seen Sam Hartman throw 6 touchdowns in Clemson. On Clemson. I think that was at home at Wake Forest. We've seen Sam Hartman go into Florida State and beat them. That was last year. Sam Hartman's just been playing in big games for years. I trust him. Notre Dame's offense looks fluent. Do I trust the Notre Dame defensive front against the Ohio State offensive line? Not entirely, but I'm catching 3.5, and I have the better quarterback. So at home, even though from what I'm reading, Mitch could probably talk about this a little more than I can. From what I'm reading, Notre Dame fans apparently sell their tickets a lot, so they don't have a true home field advantage. I don't know if that's true. I heard someone talking about that. But yeah, I'm on Notre Dame plus 3.5.
Yeah, a lot of the Notre Dame fans are long time, season ticket holders for a long time. So those tickets go for big money. So they don't just sell their tickets. They also rent out their houses.
Oh, wow.
I had friends of mine that started an entire business just renting out houses for Notre Dame games. So it is like that. I'm going to say this. I'm a Notre Dame hater. They're in my trinity of hatred. Florida, Ohio State and Notre Dame. So they're both within those parameters. But I'm going to say this, and I mean, this will be the last year that I ever get to say this, hopefully in my entire life. In my lifetime, this is the best Notre Dame team they've ever had. That's it.
Are you taking the points?
I take the points, but I don't think we need them. I think they got revenge on their mind. Marcus Freeman was just a puppy when these teams played last year as a head coach. Now he's a real head coach, and I think he's ready for him. And I think with Hartman, he's the first QB that they've had since Joe Montana, who I could actually say is the real QB. And this guy, we heard Brian Kelly when he was coaching Notre Dame talk about opening up the top. This guy can open up the top with those big Notre Dame wide receivers. I don't know where they find these guys. They're always like 6'8", 6'9", and they can catch like their hand, like they got glue on their hands. And the defense, man, look at the NFL, loaded with Notre Dame safeties and corners, and not necessarily the linebackers or the defensive line as much, but they're definitely out there as well. And of course, Notre Dame offensive linemen. First round picks, man, is what those guys are. So I think Notre Dame stacks up with them, and I think this is the best Notre Dame team that I've seen. It's better than the Lou Holtz National Championship team. It's up there with the Parsegian teams, and I think that this is the best team they've had since Jomo. This is the best. This is the best I've seen them since then.
Yeah, they look really good. They look almost flawless.
They have been phenomenal.
Chris,
I mean, Notre Dame's always going to get top-notch recruits, always.
Yeah. Chris, are you with us on Notre Dame?
Give me the Irish plus 3.5, 3 money line. I'm all over it. I think this is just a Notre Dame team that these two teams have gone and flip-flopped from where they were last year. Last year, it was Ohio State that had the better quarterback. It was, Marcus Freeman that, like you guys said, was in I think it was his first game as a head coach. He had Tyler Buckner as his quarterback in that game. And even then, in that game with Tyler Buckner going up against what was the number 2 overall pick in the NFL and CJ Stroud, the Irish were still only down by 3 points at halftime before it kind of got out of hand in the second. They might have been up by 3 in that game at halftime.
I think they were winning.
Yeah. I'm not overreacting to Ohio State beating up on Western Kentucky. That Western Kentucky defense is terrible. And even if this isn't a true home field, to talk about the guy, everybody's selling their tickets or whatever, it's still going to be a hostile environment for Kyle McCord to go out on the road into. He's still a very green quarterback. And like I said, we have one of the best quarterbacks still in college football in Sam Hartman. He's made this Notre Dame offense really, really good. I love Notre Dame here. I think they got a great shot to win it here. They're a live dog in this one for sure.
Jay, we sweeping.
Yeah, we sweeping. Y'all all nailed it. I don't got to regurgitate it. Give me Hartman and Notre Dame.
Beautiful. And it looks like our poll's on Notre Dame too. And now time for the very last game, and it's a quick one for me. I'm betting UNC. I got it at 7, but most books have it at 7.5. But I'm betting North Carolina -7. I'll lay the 7.5. I don't care. Pittsburgh is that bad. I don't care that it's on the road. Pittsburgh's the worst thing I've ever seen. That was terrible. A terrible effort last week. So I'm on North Carolina, just a pure fate of Pittsburgh. I don't even like North Carolina. Just Pittsburgh sucks. Mitch?
I think calling Pitt the worst thing you've ever seen is not fair to Arizona State. And I think Arizona State is just, they are just horrible. And the Giants. But the thing is that I think May is going to get his numbers. I think the North Carolina defense, like always, is a little soft, but I don't even think that's good enough to help Pitt here. I think Pitt sucks. I'm with you.
2 for North Carolina. Doesn't Jay like North Carolina? Let's bring Jay up here. I thought I remember you saying you like North Carolina.
I'm not just like a huge North Carolina guy, but I am on them in this game. I think Pitt is pretty bad. I think Drake May is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the nation. And
you got like 7 top 5 quarterbacks.
Caleb Fedor, Drake May, Sam Hartman, and then
is this like when you tried to tell us Darius Garland was the top 10 point guard?
Said Rashada.
You said that about Darius Garland.
No, that was you. You were all over Garland, bro.
Said
he's top 5 though for sure.
All right.
Klubnik you liked, and then the Duke guy was also.
No, he definitely doesn't like Klubnik. He hates Clemson. He hates all
There
things
it is.
Clemson.
Riley Leonard.
Jerry Jeudy. Jerry
Riley
Jeudy
Leonard,
comes
yeah.
back. Some more eligibility to play quarterback.
Chris, we sweeping.
I
Don't you dare take Pittsburgh.
I'm well, okay, then I'll pass on it because I was gonna wear a Speedo on Pitt Island. I don't know. I
Okay, then I'll pass.
Because I don't want to get picked on here. I don't know.
No, I want you to wear that Pitt plus 7.5. I'm gonna screenshot
all right,
that.
fine. I'll wear the big Pitt thong just on the show next.
And when it's 41-6 North Carolina, I'm gonna send you that. Just a text. No caption.
Fine.
It's just gonna be this screenshot.
That's okay. I'm. You know what? You live with your mistakes, mainly because I don't want to have to reshoot the video that I did for Pickdawgz, so I'm just going to stick with Pitt plus 7.5.
All right. So we got through them all. I only had to skip 2. So timing did pretty well. We'll try 10:45 again next week. Thanks you guys for joining. That was awesome. We had over 1,000 people in there. Let's go Buffs. Colorado plus 21. Love to see the hate comments towards Mitch.
Hey, Colorado first quarter plus 21. You might be okay.
Mitch is turning into the Skip Bayless of Colorado football. People just love to come in and hate on him.
The thing is, I think what Colorado's done is fantastic. Look at all the new fans that it's brought into the game. The problem is that the new fans are not college football experts. So some of the things that they say are just ridiculous. I mean, they don't even make sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you not see one defensive lineman bust up the game plan? I mean, did you not see this? Did we not see this with our very eyes? Oh, it's not a rivalry game. Oh, they almost beat us. It was a rivalry game. It's like, come on, man. It's like
no. What it was a look-ahead game. They got caught looking ahead to this one.
Oh, come on.
It's definitely a look-ahead game.
When you start seeing your players doing talk show appearances instead of going to practice and interviews, and you need like someone to say something about your sunglasses to look for motivation, you got problems, man. Those are problems.
Man, I'm excited.
Glaring problems.
I'm excited to watch that one now. But all right, it's kickoff time. Everyone, thank you for watching. See you next week at 10:45.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
Fun.
Hey, it's just football, man. It's just football, right? I love all you guys.
Love all you guys too,
Anytime
man.
I ever see you guys in Vegas, let's party, watch some games.
For sure. Everyone, enjoy your Saturdays. Let's make some money. Talk to you soon.